lovely, and I'm saying the lovely and the very, very sweet Dr. Ahlishia Shipley. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Welcome
Very
to the McCain
nice.
Train.
All right. Hey, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you got a conference that you're doing as well, so we appreciate you taking the time out to be on the phone call with us to talk about this very important issue.
Certainly.
All right. So, hey, we're talking about today about,
Dating
and why, women.
Is he the one for me?
Yeah, is he the one for me, I guess. So we're trying to find out, is he the one for me? And I want to ask you this question. Why does it seem like young ladies have so much problems, or people in general? I just want to put it on the young ladies, but people in general, why do they seem to have so much problems finding the right person to date?
Right. So, like you said, choosing the right mate is such an important decision because, relationships and marriage have awesome power to really, make your life much better, to really promote health and wealth in your life, to bring you closer to your dreams and goals. But then they also have that awesome power to take you away from your dreams and goals, to take away your health and your wealth and to undermine your happiness. And so, it could be the worst or the best decision that you make, and so it's very critical that we're mindful about this. And, like you said, through my own observations and discussions with young women and grown women alike, I identify lots of different issues that, work against relationship stability and relationship satisfaction. But one of the things that I often see is people are not managing the process of choice well. They're not choosing well. And so it's important that we learn those skills and that we're mindful about that because, make no mistake, choosing a mate isn't, the process of choosing is very much starts as an internal process.
Okay,
it is not external.
Doctor, you just said it's a key word, skills. Now, does it take a special set of skills and insights for women to find Mr.
So I do believe, yes, it does. So one, I think the first thing is are you good within yourself? Do you engage in enough self-reflection? Have you engaged in identifying lessons that you've learned from your past relationships? And, are you even in the right state of mind for choosing a good partner for you? Is your emotional and mental state healthy enough to even effectively appraise whether someone is good for you or not? And so along with that self-reflection and really being mindful of the lessons that you've learned in your relationships, I think women and men alike need to learn how to listen to their intuition and to really take heed to that small, still voice inside of them, because all too often I see young women ignore the red flags, flaming, bright, big, red, fiery flags that they still touch, thinking that they will change, or they kind of ignore them because the feelings of being in love are so strong that they really can't even see it until all of that wears off. And then those are the moments where you see it. That's why it's critically important for you to take your time in a relationship. And another thing is being able to communicate assertively.
So Doctor,
are you really...
Go ahead.
Are you really able to communicate your expectations to someone without fear of what is going to happen?
Well, Doctor, there, and I'm gonna be facetious here. You know that most people believe, and I'm going to say women, but I'm going to say most people believe that they can change that individual just by doing the certain things themselves. They believe that that person may have been bad before or not doing the right things before, but because they're with them, they're able to make a change in that person for the better. What do you say to that young lady that's not seeing the obvious signs, but she thinks there's something about her that can change him to be Mr. Right?
Right. So, Pastor Rick, you and I both know that you can't change anyone.
Right.
People's personalities are generally enduring, and the only person that can really make someone create a lasting, profounding change in their life is themselves, with the help of God, of course. And so if that is what you're banking on, that someone will change, then you need to take your money out of that bank.
Well, that bank is getting a lot of deposits because a lot of women do believe that they could change a person, and in the process, they decide to settle. All of their everything they had on their checklist is not there anymore. It's like we have the fear of, if this one don't work for me, God knows when another one will come along. So they try to make him out of Mr. Right. What are some of the stages, though, doctor, that a woman should look for when she wants the man that she's trying to date to graduate from dating to marriage material?
Well, one of the things that you have to really hone in on is, how do you feel when you're around this person? Do you feel empowered around this person? Do you have a shared vision for the future? Is it lopsided? Does one person, really want to make it official, and the other person just kind of meh, blah, about moving forward? And so, you need to think about, is this person a good partner? Because whether you're going to be in a long-term relationship or a marriage, it's a partnership. So you need a good teammate to weather this thing that we're doing called life. So I think that the level of dedication and commitment to the relationship needs to be equal. It needs to grow at the same pace. And those are the things that women should look. If you're at one stage, do you still feel good at the next stage? Then you move on. Do you still feel good at the next stage? Because I've seen it, and I've seen it with my own eyes, that women will walk down the aisle and still be thinking, I know this is not right.
But they say I do just because they want to marry. Yeah, that's the settling stage to me, and it's just not right.
And
right.
Here again, we settle. Even in marriages, and I know we're not talking about marriage, we settle for things. So, doctor, talk to someone right now. Why is it so bad to settle? We kind of like sometimes say, okay, well, she's not that, but okay, I'll settle because she's got these qualities, or he's got these qualities, and it's not really what I want here, but I'll settle. What's the problem with settling for somebody when nobody's going to be 100%, but maybe you're looking for 85? Is it okay to settle for the 15? How do you say it's not good to settle when it seems like it's something that we do all the time?
Right. So if that is how you conceptualize your decision about someone, that I am settling for this person, in quotes, then I don't advocate for that, because that term, settling, is negative. And it's a challenge to have positive illusions about your partner if they are your third, second, fourth, fifth, sixth choice, right? And so I don't believe that settling doesn't mean foregoing some of these check marks off your list. For someone who you like, who you care about, who you're attracted to, for someone who genuinely respects you, loves you, wants to make you smile, has goals for their future, that you all have shared goals. Someone might not be 6 feet, they might not make 6 figures, but if they have these other things that, make you happy, then those are, I wouldn't consider that settling. Now, when we talk about how someone treats you, if they are abusive, if they are, if the relationship is a toxic, dysfunctional environment where somebody's chronically making you sad and you still decide to stay with them, then that is settling. Yeah. And so those are the things that we want to stay away from. But it's very hard to make self-supportive, self-empowering decisions. It's one thing that we aren't really taught. Growing up, a lot of times we're taught to sacrifice, to compromise to the point where it undermines our own well-being. Okay. And so those are the things that you have to train yourself to do.
Dr. Ahlishia, when it comes to a woman who, the person, most women do have a checklist. Out of 10 major things she wants, the guy has a good 8 or 9 of those qualities. But when it comes to, should a woman compromise some of her beliefs to a man to make him the number one? And this main belief is her religion. It's like, well, he don't go to church and I do. What would you say to a person out there just like, God, I really love him and I want him to be Mr. Right, but this is a major factor that might be a deal breaker. But as a woman, to me, that's when I think they settle. It's like, well, I could deal with it. I could change them later. What would you say to someone who had that strong religious belief and is changing her beliefs just to be with a man?
Right. So if your beliefs are fundamental to the core of who you are as a human being, then no, you shouldn't compromise at all.
Okay.
If these things are the beliefs that make up who you are, then no, you don't compromise those things, in my opinion. In my dissertation research, I had a young woman who really wanted to get married. That was her goal. That's how she saw her life. And the young man that she was dating at the time, didn't want to get married. He told her he didn't want to get married. But she was one of the, women at the time who thought maybe he'll change his mind, right? And so she was willing to take that risk and maybe not get married, even though that is what she really, really wanted. So in those situations, those compromises I feel are too grave. Compromise and sacrifice are good for relationships, only if they don't compromise your well-being. I was listening just real quick to Oprah show one day, one of the shows she has on her network, and she was interviewing someone named Carolyn Miss, and her question to her was, how do you know if you are on the right path? How do you know if you're pursuing the right dream? If this is the right husband for you? And Carolyn Miss's response is something that is very profound to me, and it really stuck with me. And she said, you're on the right path when you're not put in the position to betray yourself.
That's good.
When you're in a situation where you have to negotiate your heart or your integrity, where you have to compromise who you are, that those are the situations that you want to stay away from. You want to be in a situation that feels right to you, and it goes back to really being able to listen and trust your intuition and how you feel, how your spirit feels in this space with this other individual.
Hey, so let me ask you this now, and that was a great advice. I appreciate that. So, there was a movie out that Vivica Fox was in called Two Can Play That Game, where the young lady was trying to train them to what a man should be. What is your thought process about that? Can you train a person to be what you want to be? I know we was talking about settling, but instead of settling, is it possible that maybe we can train that individuals to be what we want? Is something like that feasible or possible?
People are who they are. And so what you have to do in a relationship is communicate your expectations to someone. And you do that based on, reality, what is, and not necessarily kind of engaging in games and tests to see whether someone is going to pass or not. Those types of things don't build a solid foundation, and they actually kind of put that energy into the relationship that, I don't really trust you that much, so I'm going to fabricate a scenario for my test. And so that energy builds kind of more of distrust and deception in the relationship than really allowing someone to see if they meet your expectations, and you being able to make the choice of whether they do or they don't, and being able to stay or walk away.
We have Tracy coming to the mic right now. Tracy, what do you have to say?
I have a question, Doctor. What do you do when dating relationships kind of go stale and you don't know how to dig yourself out of that rut?
Yeah, so that is very difficult. Like I said, self-supportive decisions are one of the hardest things that we have to learn how to do. And so it's in a scenario like that where are you speaking of leaving a relationship or actually making the relationship better?
How to keep from leaving it, because a lot of people nowadays, I call them disposable relationships. Once things, get dry or stale, people don't know how to hang in there and fight for their relationships. So do you have any suggestions you can give for when that relationship goes stale and you feel like I'm bored with it? What should I do next?
So I am definitely an advocate of relationship education. I'm a relationship educator myself, and so It is not counseling. It's actually skills-based education that couples can do together. And, within these relationship education workshops, and you can find them, in lots of different places, community centers, churches, universities offer these courses, and they have a lot of relationship enhancement activities that you and your partner can do together. Or you can, go to a website like the Gottman Institute, and they have cards and with different activities on there that couples can do together. You really have to. That is the thing about relationships. You really have to be deliberate about making the relationship work and engaging in relationship building activities, no matter what they may be, to really, keep the relationship lively and energetic, and also do relationship checkups, just to talk to each other and see how you're feeling about the relationship. Those are things the research shows really does enhance relationships.
So, you were talking about the skill-based, I guess was format that you use. What do you mean by skill-based?
So, skills-based relationship education. Yes. So, I'll give you an example. So, there's a framework that I use called the National Extension and Relationship Marriage Education model. And so in that model, they have developed 7 core components of healthy relationships, the researchers that developed this based on 40 years of research on relationships. And so the 7 core components are actually skills that we need. The first one is choose, being intentional and deliberate about the choices that you make in a relationship. The second one is care for self, making sure that you are managing your own physical and sexual and emotional well-being. The third one is know, that you are constantly checking in with your partner to see where they're at, to see how their days are going, to see what's going on in their mind, that you know their emotional heritage or the things that they've been through in the past. Care is the fourth one. Really doing things that show your partner that you care about them, and doing things that are meaningful to them. The fifth one is share. Really developing a sense of we-ness, a couple identity, making decisions as a couple together. The sixth one is manage. Really being able to manage conflict in a healthy, effective way. And the last one is connect. And that is really connecting to a higher purpose together, whether that be church or community service or friends and family, making sure that you don't stay isolated, but that you are connected to a community and social support and all of those things. And so those are skills that build your own relationship competence. So if you find, a curriculum that is a skills-based curriculum, they actually will teach you skills that build your relationship readiness, whether you're not in a relationship and you're single, whether you're an engaged couple, a married couple. There's relationship education out there for every stage of a relationship.
Doctor, sorry about that, Dr. Ahlishia. I have to give you your respect. Now, the young lady that went through all of these skill sets, and let's say she's in the relationship about 6 months, and the guy tells her that he loves her, and she's not believing him. Because, I hear that a lot with some women that I talk to in counseling. Like, oh, he said it too soon. Okay, isn't this what you're looking for? But the thing is, they half the time they don't believe them when they say that. So what can you say to a young lady that if a guy is actually saying those 3 words, because I don't think they throw it around all free willy, but if they saying it, do you believe that they mean it when they're saying it at that time?
So my mom always says she's from the show me stage. You got to show me, baby. That's what she says. And so, you really have to look at someone's actions more than you do their words. And so, because people's intentions are always demonstrated through their actions.
Okay.
And
Show
so
me.
those are the things.
So that goes
Right.
into show me that you're present, show me that you're thoughtful, and show me that you're well balanced in this relationship, as well as saying I love you. Because anybody can just talk the talk, but don't walk the walk. So
Yeah, exactly.
we like that show me state. That's just not in Missouri or Kentucky, right? But what are you doing, Doctor?
Right.
What are you doing right now? What projects do you have coming that you're working on?
Well, related to this conversation with the relationships. So I am working on a relationship education curriculum actually for Black college women. One that brings in kind of this research-based information and about relationship satisfaction, but really is built with the voices and the input of Black college women. That was the population that I studied for my research, and most often the population that I do relationship education skills workshops with. And so I really think that is important for that population because they are in a year one because of the marriageable mate pool for that population. There's an imbalance that we have in terms of Black educated women and versus Black educated men. And so I really want to speak to that. We have there's an issue with STDs and HIV transmission in the Black community. Yes. And so there's really a need for women to have something that really speaks to their needs, a really specialized relationship education curriculum. And then also a book that is focused on gathering the voices and the lessons of women of color of all different walks of life about the most significant lessons that they've learned in relationships and what advice that they would offer to younger women. Because lots of times, particularly in the Black community, there aren't enough relationship models for people to actually look towards. So, people are going to make their mistakes, but at least they may have, some knowledge, some insight, some things to help them be more mindful about the decisions that they make if they could glean some wisdom from other people who've been in their shoes.
So you're all about healthy relationship development in marriages, training and guiding and leading our young ladies into doing things properly, because the world has changed so much right now that you're right, we don't really have too many good role models, and unfortunately they don't see it at home too much. They don't see a two-parent household, and there's nothing wrong with a single mother. They hold it down, and kudos to all the single mothers out there.
But and I agree.
The media plays such a pivotal part on our young girls that they think everything is the nuke thing, that you go on one date and the brother should be ready to marry you. You still got some old-fashioned brothers like my husband. Whoops, my husband. Like my husband out there, there's still chivalry isn't there. Open the car door for you and open the door for you.
Right.
A lot of the younger generation, they see us still doing that after 22 years of marriage, which would be Friday. And I remember a young girl came up to us and saying, "Who does that?" And it was the way she said it. And she looked at me and said, "Why are you standing at the door? You can't open the door for yourself?" My response to her is, I have a husband. He should open the door for me. I shouldn't have to open doors. If I'm with him, we independent, true enough. But if you got a husband to do those things or a boyfriend to do those things, why are you complaining about that?
And start with teaching your sons and your grandsons to do those things. And then that when they get to be adults, they'll already know how to treat a woman. Yeah,
it's preach, Tracy. Now, Dr. Shipley, do you talk to the young men as well, or just the girls, the initiative for the Girls Summit?
I generally talk to young women about relationships. Now, I have been kind of in informal conversations with men about relationships, but I think that is definitely a good idea. I know that there are youth relationship education curriculum out there that is geared both toward young women and men, and and at risk vulnerable populations of young men and women. But that just hasn't been my population yet. It would be great to team up with, another man to teach these types of skills workshops to both the young men and the young women.
Well, I thank you. I thank you tremendously for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on the Let's Stay Together talk. So I'm going to say, there you have it, ladies out there. You have some great tips of what you need to do to find out and to know if a man is really into you, if he really is the one, the Mr. Right. Because I still say too many of us, we trying to build Mr. Right, and you can't do it. And as Dr. Shipley said, the testing really isn't a good thing. That's like wasted energy of doing that. But I appreciate you so much taking all this time out to tell us that tidbit on everything we need to know about finding Mr. Right.
So, Doctor, can we get you to commit? Because, now you've been on the show. You are an official honorary family member. Can we get you to commit to be on our show again so you can talk to these young ladies about getting the right man? Brenda's already got the right man, so she don't have to worry about it. But maybe Tracy could find one.
Tracy probably ain't looking for one right now.
That's right. God gonna send me the right man.
Can we commit to have you again one time to talk about these kind of issues?
Oh, definitely. I would love to be back on the show. That would be great.
All right, we appreciate you, and I know you I think you had a conference today, so thank you very much for being on the show with us, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, y'all take care. Thank you.
You too. Take care, and thanks a million.
Bye-bye. Hey, that was a good interview that you had with her. I kind of let you talk a little bit there.
A little bit.
And as I went out and did my Yomiko Remiko.
I was wondering.
But, hey, we're going to go to commercial break. What we got going, baby?
We got Next Point of View by Donna Terrell and our promo by Chris Rock.
Yeah, and that promo is not the real Chris Rock. We don't want him to sue us, but it's Chris Rock.
Right.
We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.